have fun with a Theraband. You'll need a lightweight Theraband, preferably a yellow or a green, and you'll want to cut it at least 5 to 6 feet in length. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start kneeling, hands down along beside us, finding your tabletop position. And I want us to focus today on really trying to elongate and stretch our spine, opening up our lumbar spine. So don't worry too much about pushing a lot into your shoulders. I want you to try to lift the front of your body and start to turn the wheel of your pelvis towards your sit bones and really draw in and up the front of your abdominal wall as though you could shorten the space between your ASIS points. So we're creating this big ball, or we're turning the wheel of our pelvis to stretch open the lumbar spine. Keep your hands anchored. Reach through your toes, and I want you to start to reach your sit bones down towards your heels. Keep your arms where they're at, and reach the spine. Maybe even let the head and neck go so that you're drawing a big line from your tailbone to the top of your head. Relaxing your hips back. Keep your scoop and scoop deeper into your abdominals, starting to push your spine back up, stacking it one vertebra at a time, all the way back up. Carefully bring it back forward. We'll do that once more and try to deepen the connection with your breath and really widen the back of your spine, elongating the space between each vertebra. So exhale to lift the front of your body, widen your collarbones, and start to turn the sit bones down towards your heels. Now reach through your toes and pull the pelvis back as though someone's just kind of punched you in the gut and you're propelling yourself backwards. Round, keep your scoop. Keep the scoop. Resist the arms pulling and stretch the pelvis back. And then slowly start to pull yourself back, stacking it all the way back up, nice and tall, one vertebra at a time. Carefully shifting off of your legs, we'll reach them forward and we'll grab that Theraband. So from here, I'm going to turn to face you. If it feels good, you can sit crisscross, or for a little added challenge, if you want, you can lengthen your legs out. So that's if your hamstrings can allow it, because I want you to try to sit on your sit bones. If you feel like you're rolled back and suddenly you've just collapsed through the midsection after we tried to stretch it up, right? So find the position that works for you. Holding onto your Theraband, shoulders distance apart. I want it not taut, like stretched too much, but just so that there's no slack. So slide those shoulders back and down. I'm gonna pick up my excess so it's not floating around me. Slide those shoulders back and down, and I want you to really draw the tips of your scapula down towards the back pockets as you float the arms up overhead. Just a little pull on that Theraband, so kind of a widening sensation, and then draw back down. Good. Now if your legs are long, the challenge, I think, is to stay growing tall through the top of your head. So your legs are lengthening in one direction, and the length of your spine is lengthening in the opposite direction. So just a little range of motion here. And really focus, like melting chocolate, those scapula slide down your back pocket and grow tall, as though the light of your chest could illuminate the space in front of you. A little bit of a pull out on that Theraband, and then slide back down. Last one, melt through the shoulders, widen your collarbones, lift that Theraband up, and we're gonna hold. Now I want you to bend at the elbows, pull away on that Theraband, and just kind of slide it down, and then reach it back up. Good. Widen your collarbones, pull. Can you really kind of feel the back of your scapula as though they're widening away from your spine? Like the elbows could reach to the side of the room and stretch. Whoop, back just cracked a minute. Last four, widen your collarbones Now, if your legs are long, you are working your abdominals as well. You're really trying to sit up on the sharp edge of those sit bones. Keep the spine lengthening up towards the ceiling and widen. Last two. Kind of like someone's grabbed the base of your skull, like a chiropractor or a masseuse, and they're gently lengthening your spine up towards the ceiling. Last one. Widen, reaching it back up. Slowly slide those back down. Take a little breather. Maybe the blood rushes back down into those shoulders. We're going to add a slight rotation now. And with your pelvis anchored on the mat, I want you to think the pelvis doesn't move. We're going to move through our rib cage, really kind of warming up for our saw and our twist. So holding onto that Theraband again, relax those shoulders back and down. Let's inhale here. And exhale, float those fingertips up, widening the collarbones. Now let's inhale to turn. Big rotation. And exhale to come back through center. Inhale to turn. You are sitting upright. You're on the sharp edge of your sit bones. And you're actively growing tall up towards the ceiling. You're lengthening, 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 and then pull back towards center. Good. So from the other angle, you're nice and tall. You lengthen, reach, 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 back towards center. Last one each way. Keep the shoulders quiet. Maybe just a little bit of a pull out on that Theraband as you rotate your rib cage. Pull back towards center. I feel my inner thighs too. So I'm hugging my legs towards each other, holding my pelvis still, and rotating on a diagonal, and pull back towards center. Now soften and release, letting that go. Everybody will lengthen their legs out and loop the Theraband on the bottoms of your feet. So we're going to use the Theraband to help with our roll down. I want you to try to keep your elbows straight as you come up. So play a little bit with range of motion. So holding on to that Theraband, we are starting on the sharp edge of our sit bones. And just like we practiced that really nice lumbar stretch, I want you to start to turn the wheel of your pelvis. Pull in and up the front of your body. Shoot energy through your legs and start to stretch and lower yourself all the way down. Stretch. Lift the front of your body to elongate the back of your body. Inhale at your bottom. Now exhale, allow the Theraband to help glide you back up, but reach through your legs and lift the front of your body. Stacking it all the way back up, nice and tall. And exhale, turn. Can you shoot energy through your heels? And stretch that lumbar spine again. Opening up the back of the body. Inhale. And exhale. Widen your collarbones. Scoop towards your heels. Scoop, 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 scoop. Curling into a ball until you feel the sharp edge of your sit bones drop down. And then you stack it back up. Last two. Exhale. Turn the wheel of your pelvis. Think quality of movement over quantity. How can you really activate the entire length of your body? Pushing into that Theraband. Inhale to awe. Soften. And exhale to curl. All the way back up. Last one. We'll roll down and we'll stay. Exhale, scoop the wheel of the pelvis towards you, lifting up the front of your abdominals and really lengthening the back of your body, stretching yourself all the way back down. Inhale and soften and release. Carefully bending your feet or bending your knees. We'll place the Theraband out of the way for now and we'll come back to it in a little bit. The legs are going to be bent. Find a nice soft pelvis. Feet firmly planted down onto the mat. And I really want you to focus on feeling the spread of your toes, the balls of your feet, and the weight of your heels. The arms are down along beside you. We're going to move through our curl. Inhale wide into the ribs, deep into the lungs. Exhale, start to turn the wheel of your pelvis. Maybe stretch that lumbar spine again. Hopefully you feel like you've got more space, that you can really articulate each vertebra, because now we've opened up the back of our spine. Lifting, going only so high as you don't lose the ribs, right? So it's not like suddenly you've pressed just the waist up. Try to stay connected and stretch the front of your quads and your hip flexors, standing into the frame of your arms. Inhale at the top. And exhale, scoop that pelvis towards you more and stretch through the spine, standing into your feet. Feel those hamstrings and glutes activate. Try to articulate and really feel the length through the lumbar spine. At the very bottom, you release and you relax that pelvis. Last 3. Inhale. Exhale, turn the wheel of the pelvis. Deflate your ribs and start to pull in and up the abdominal wall, pushing into the feet. Feel the back of your legs and the front of your hips. Inhale. And exhale, reach the sit bones towards your heels. Can you pull your heels towards your bottom just a little bit, as though you're trying to scrape gum off the bottom of your feet? So you're really activating the back of your legs. Inhale. Can you wrap the upper part of the back of your arm down onto the mat? Inhale. And exhale, reach. Pull your heels towards your sit bones and reach your fingertips towards your heels. Stretching yourself all the way down, releasing at the very bottom. Let it soften. And last one, we're going to turn the wheel of our pelvis, scoop up into our abdominals, stand into our feet, spread wide through your collarbones, and hold. We're going to articulate through our feet. So I want you to lift your right heel, left heel, lower the right, lower the left. Lift the left, lift the right, lower the right, lower the left. Back and forth, lifting up and lowering down. Alternating, lifting up and then lowering down. Good. Can you feel the spread of your metatarsals? I want you to roll up. 60% of your weight is into that big toe metatarsal. Can you feel from that big toe through the length of your leg line all the way up to your pubic bone? All the way there. Oops. I got tripped up there a little bit. I'm talking too much. Let's do 4. Lift, lift, lower, lower, lift, lift, lower, lower. Last 2. Lift, lower, lower. Last lift, lift and lower, lower. Stand into your feet and reach. Can you pull your heels towards you? Lengthening all the way back down. Releasing at the very bottom, let it soften. Carefully pull the knees towards your chest and move through some knee stirs. Nice gentle movement through the hips. So from here, let's stretch the back of our legs just a little bit if those kind of got fired up. Grab your Theraband again and loop it around the back, the foot. I like it close to my toes, so I almost kind of just bring it exclusively on my toes. Lengthen the opposite leg long and go ahead and hold on to your Theraband, bending at the elbows, and plant the upper part of the back of your arm down onto the mat. So you're sort of anchoring so you have something to move into. Let's stretch and work through our ankles. So the reason I like the Theraband around my toes is because I want to push my toes into the Theraband and start to articulate and make circles with my foot. So you're really kind of massaging the ankle, pressing the ball of your foot into the Theraband. Nice circles. We'll reverse the direction. Try to get a stretch across the top of your foot. Last 2. And last 1. And soften. Now bring both sides of that Theraband into your left hand. So opposite hand is foot. And that left elbow is going to come down. I want you to try to stay anchored in your right hip and pull the toes towards your nose and drop your right sit bone towards your left foot. So you're really trying to stretch open just the back of the leg. Try not to let the wheel of your pelvis turn. Pull the toes towards your left shoulder ever so slightly. Now you might feel it wrap more to the outside of your thigh. Try to articulate through your foot just a little bit. Push your big toe metatarsal into the Theraband and pull your pinky side of your foot back towards your nose. Now shift and draw that Theraband into your right hand and let the weight of your leg kind of open out, but don't let go of your left hip. So still reach through your right heel and anchor through your left hip. And then carefully pull all the way back up. From here, opening that Theraband out, keeping the elbows along beside us, we'll move through our leg circles. So kind of allow the length of the leg to open up to the four sides of the room, stretching. Now for today, I'm okay if the wheel of your pelvis turns just a little bit, because I want you to try to loosen up through the hips. Nice and gentle movement though. Back up, we reverse. So sometimes we hold it still, and sometimes it feels good to let it go just a little bit. So meet yourself where you're at. See how it feels today. Last one. All the way back up, and carefully soften. We'll switch. And carefully soften. We'll switch. So now that left foot comes in. Again, kind of bring that Theraband near to the toes. Anchor the elbows beside you and reach that opposite leg long. So even here, you can kind of check in with yourself. Let's see what feels good. We're going to start to move through our ankle circles. So press into the Theraband and roll through your ankle. Try to feel like 180 degrees, all the back of your leg muscles. Calf from the outside through the center to the inside. Reverse. 4. Last 3. Give me 2. And last 1. All the way back up. Now draw the toes back towards your nose. We're going to bring the Theraband into our right hand, and that right elbow is going to drop down onto the mat. Drop your left sit bone towards your right foot, and lengthen your left heel up towards the ceiling. So again, really trying to focus in the back of the leg only, not changing the position of our waist or the pelvis. Draw the toes towards your nose just a little bit more and reach your heel up towards the ceiling. Push into your left big toe metatarsal just a little bit and pull the pinky side back towards you. Now draw towards your right shoulder just a little bit. See how that feels. Back through center. Switching, bringing the Theraband into your left hand. So same hand as leg. Keep your right hip anchored and reach your left heel away from you, opening up now through the inside of your leg line. And carefully pull back up. Separate that Theraband, pull both out, and we'll move through our circles. So think about pulling up, over, down, and around. Up, over, down, and around. Last 2. And last 1. All the way up, we reverse. Reaching through that supporting leg. So that right leg that's on the mat is still active. I want you to lengthen it away from your center. Once more for good measure, all the way back up. Carefully bend, and then curl all the way back up. So from here, take your Theraband, nice about shoulders distance apart. It's in your hands, and I want you to loop it around your hands again. So I got mine a little short. So a little wider than shoulders distance. Loop it around your hands again so that you feel like it's kind of secure around your hands. Now we're still down onto our backs. Go ahead Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, widen through your collarbones, and let's lengthen our legs long. We're going to work through our thoracic curl just a little bit. So reaching through your fingertips, here's your inhale. Exhale, widen your collarbones as you lift head, neck, and chest and curl towards your toes. Inhale, soften back and down. Exhale, widen through your collarbones, reach through your fingertips and curl towards your toes. Inhale, soften back and down. Last two. Can you feel like the base of your skull, someone's lengthening from the base of your skull, lifting up and over and soften back and down? Last one. Lifting head, neck, and chest, curl. Draw your right leg to tabletop position and the left to meet it. Now drape the Theraband over your shins and you're going to pull down towards the floor. Yep, you're in that kind of slip knot. Now we're going to move through our hundreds. You're going to pulse down and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Good. I want you to think of the down. So don't think about coming up. Think about pulsing down, 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 down. Inhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Last two. And exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Soften and release everything back and down. Take a little breather. Feet can come back down onto the mat. And let's circle and sway the knees a little side to side. So hopefully that little addition of the Theraband kind of helped open up and engage the back of your arms. Lots of times I think when we move through hundreds and we pulse down, our arms are just like flapping in the wind. But now we actually have something to pull against. So that's helpful. Grab your Theraband. Let's move through a little bit of hip work. So we're going to loop it around our legs, drawing a knot. So you can do a single loop. I like to double it up and then thread it through. So whatever works for you. You're going to do a little square knot, a little loop knot, drawing it around your thighs. So you can do once, whatever feels good. So let's make a pillow with our bicep and we'll come all the way down onto that bicep. We'll start with our legs bent, knees bent, heels are clicked together. They are in line with your sit bones. So they're kind of slightly behind you, as though your back is up against a wall and your heels and your feet are up against that wall too. The bottom leg is going to stay down. Today with our clamshells, I want you to focus on squeezing your heels. I want you to think heels together the whole time. So squeeze your heels as you press that top leg up and then lower it. You're actively squeezing your heels the whole time. Lift and lower and lift and lower. Last 5. Give me 4. You can adjust your tension if at any point you're like, this is not working for me. Last one, you're going to press up and hold. Now I want you to think heels squeezing. Squeeze your heels together and press that top leg up. 8, 7, squeeze your heels. 6, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Carefully soften that back down. Now we're going to turn on our adductor, so the inside of that bottom leg. Both heels will click up. Now push the bottom heel into the top and really feel like you're squeezing those heels again. The top leg presses up. The heels don't change position. It's just the top leg. Presses up and soften. Lift and soften. And lift and soften. 4. Give me 3. Drive your heels together. 2. Last one, lift, hold. Push your heels together. Squeeze little pulses. 8, 7, squeeze. 5, squeeze your heels. 4. Last 3.
Give me 2. And 1, and soften everything back down. A little balance challenge on our side. So from here, we're going to try to open up the front of your top hip and then flex the bottom hip. So both legs are going to hover. Use that hands to help support and find your balance. The top leg is going to stretch long, and the bottom leg is going to pull towards your chest, sort of like you're bicycling. And then draw back to parallel. So that bottom leg presses back. Feel the hamstring pressing into the Theraband. And draw back in. And then the bottom leg pulls up as though that quad is pressing into the Theraband. Let's do 4. Press and reach and soften. Give me 3. Press and reach. Find a moment of hold and soften. Last 2, press and reach, hold and soften. Last 1, press and reach. Find a moment to hold. And you can stay here or add a balance challenge and really feel like you're pulling up the right side of your body. 4, 3, 2, 1, and soften and release. Take a little breather. Carefully slide the Theraband, still in its looped form, down towards your ankles. Lengthen your legs long, and we'll stay down on the bicep. So you can feel that your upper body is back against a wall, but kick your legs forward ever so slightly, just on a slight diagonal. Now that top leg is going to press into the Theraband, so already it's turned on. Now I want you to think about pressing in just a little higher and soften. Lift and soften. Yeah, so you never let the leg entirely go. I want you to really feel like the outside of your heel is pressing up towards the ceiling. So careful that you don't fall into an external rotation. Last 2 and 1. Now from here, I want you to point through the foot, and I want you to press back. 1, 2, and then flex, kick forward, 1, 2, point, 1, 2, flex, kick forward, 1, 2. So it's a little range of motion. Don't make it so big that you let go of your trunk. Keep that bottom leg as a supporting leg. Last 4, 1, 2, point and press, 1, 2, flex and reach, 1, 2, point and press, 1, 2. Last 2, flex, 1, 2, point, 1, 2, flex, 1, 2, point, last 1, 2. Carefully soften that leg back down. Come out of your Theraband. It will come forward. If it's available to you, you can thread your leg through and hold onto your ankle. Now that bottom leg, reach through your heel, and like you're going to draw your heel towards your pubic bone, pull it up and soften, and lift and soften, and lift and soften. Lift and soften. Lift. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Little pulses straight up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Make magic circle size circles with your heel. 4, 3, all right, maybe a little smaller than magic circle size circles. 2, and 1. We reverse. 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Carefully soften it back down. We'll carefully bring ourselves up to seated. That left leg can stay on top of the right as we find just a little bit of a figure 4 stretch. So we're still opening up that glute that we did our clamshells on. That might be a little bit tight still. Yeah. And then carefully thread your legs back through. And we'll do the other side. A little bit of fun with the Theraband today. How does that sound? So make a pillow with your bicep. Line your body as though it's up against an invisible wall behind you. And then slide your feet so they're up against that wall with you. Your knees and your hips are in a slight bend. That bottom leg is soft, but I want you to squeeze your heels together and think about this movement stemming from your heels and traveling all the way up the length of your leg into your pelvis. So with your heels squeezing, press that top leg up and soften. And lift and soften. Think heels squeeze and soften. Heels squeeze and soften. Squeeze. Drive your heels together. Pinch and soften. Last 3. Give me 2. Last 1. Press up and hold. Squeeze your heels, pulsing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften back down. Now we're going to work the inside of that bottom leg. Our heels will kick up. They're still pinched together, so they're still pushing. That top leg presses up. Don't change the position of your heels. Just spiral that femur bone open and then close back down. Last 4. Give me 3. Last 2. Lift your left obliques. Last 1. Pressing all the way up. Hold. Squeeze your heels. 8, 7. Squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften back and down. We're going to move into that added balance challenge. So use your left obliques to help keep yourself stacked. Find those bony landmarks, the weight of your pelvis, the spread of your rib cage, and the weight of your head. That hand is in front of you for a little support as we float our legs up. There's always kind of a readjustment period. That top leg is going to stretch away as the bottom leg pulls towards you like a bicycle move, and then draw back in. Lengthen and press, and then pull back in. Lengthen and press, and soften. And last 1, lengthen, reach, and hold. So you're balanced. Lift your left obliques and stretch your top arm up. Reaching. Last 4. Lifting. 3. Stretch through every limb. 2. And last 1. And soften everything back down. From here, carefully thread that leg down to your ankles. Your back of the body is up against that invisible wall. Kick your legs forward ever so slightly so they're just on a slight angle. That top leg is already working just by keeping the strap slightly taut. Push the outside of your foot up towards the ceiling, like you're really trying to kick the heel up towards the ceiling. Press it up and soften, and lift and soften, and lift and soften, and lift and soften, and kick. Try not to externally rotate that foot. I want you to feel it on the outside of the glute. Last 3. Give me 2. And 1. Little pulses. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. So we point through the foot, press it back. 1, 2, kick it forward. 1, 2, point. 1, 2, flex. 1, 2. That bottom leg is anchored. It's just a little range of motion. Don't make it so big that you lose your waist. Last 2, 2, 2. Last 1. And flexed. From here, carefully slide that foot out from the Theraband, placing it onto the mat. Circle the arm underneath and hold onto your ankle. Reach through that bottom leg and really feel like the heel is stretching to the far side of the room. Lifting and lower, and lifting and lower, and lifting and lift. I like to draw a line from the inside of my heel all the way up to the base of my pelvis, and I feel like I'm shortening that line. Last 2, and last 1. Lift up and hold. Now again, little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, circles with your heel, like you've got a crayon on your heel, and you're going to draw a circle on the far wall. 3, last 2, and 1, and then we reverse. Think about the up. It's harder to lift up than it is to just let that leg drop. So pull up, last one, up, and soften, and release. Carefully pressing yourself up for that slight figure 4 stretch. Taking just a moment, maybe kind of rocking the pelvis. And then carefully taking that Theraband out from around the legs. We will de-knot it for just a hot second. There we go. We're going to move into a little bit of prone work, and we're going to try to open up and stretch the front of our body. So that Theraband will come beside us near the front of our mat as we lie down onto the mat. Now for starters, let's just open up our quad and the front of our hips just a little bit. Now I really like this stretch. Go ahead, my left hand is down, and I'm going to make a pillow with my left hand, and I'm going to lay my head on that pillow. I'm going to reach around behind me, if it's available to you, and grab onto your foot. If it's not, a little cheat, if you want, is to come back and use that Theraband. So you can kind of find what works for you. So you can use that Theraband for a little support if you need it, or you can hold onto your foot with your hand. I prefer my hand, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out real quick. So holding onto your foot, let your arm help you out, pulling your heel towards your bottom. So now this is kind of like a passive stretch. It's just happening. We're going to make it active. I want you to push energy into your hand from your foot. So you're actively starting to like push into your hand to hover and elongate the front of your hip. So feel a little bit like your kneecap is stretching towards the far side of the room, and let your right shoulder slide back and down. You're pushing into your hand so much. Your collarbone is wide. The front of your quad may start to hover off the mat, and I want you to lengthen the front of your right hip. Last inhale, and soften all the way back and down. Carefully, slowly letting go of that leg. It's kind of a big stretch, so just a little bit of release, maybe through the pelvis if it feels good to rock. Try not to seize up your low back. You're actively flexing through the leg to open up your hip. We will switch to the other side. So now make a pillow. I have a pillow with my right hand, laying my head down. Reach around, grab onto your foot first, and let it be passive, as though your arm is kind of just pulling your heel towards your bottom. Then we'll start to make it active. So push energy into your hand and really feel like the foot is kicking back. Stretching that left shoulder back and down. Start to hover the kneecap, reaching it towards the far side of the room. Maybe your quad lifts off of the mat. Widen that left collarbone and stretch. Flex your left glute. Nice big inhale. Exhale to soften. Last one. Inhale. And exhale, carefully letting go of that foot. Softening your thigh. Slowly. Again, if it feels good, maybe a little bit of a pelvic rock back and forth. Maybe the feet. Then go ahead and grab onto your Theraband. So either as a single or a double, doesn't matter, kind of whatever feels good for you. You're gonna lay, my left cheek is gonna come down onto the mat. The Theraband's gonna come behind me, kind of in the small of my back, and my hands are gonna hold on to the Theraband. Now we're gonna move through our double leg kick. The Theraband is gonna help with our extension and try to keep tension out of the shoulders. So from here, I want you to point through your feet and turn on your legs and really feel like the space between your first and second toe is stretching towards the far side of the room. So your legs are active, and right now your upper body is quiet. You're gonna point through your feet as though your kneecaps, again, could stretch towards the far side of the room. Draw your heels towards your bottom, kicking it 1, 2, 3. As you lengthen the legs, slide your shoulders back and down. Slight pull out on that Theraband, widen your collarbones, and reach, lifting up into your extension. Now lay your right ear down onto the mat as you kick your bottom. 1, 2, 3. Your legs are turned on. They're stretching, almost as though the quad could hover off of the mat. And then soften back and down, kicking the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Widen your collarbones. Pull out on that Theraband ever so slightly to lift through the heart. Soften back and down, kicking your bottom. 1, 2, 3. And then reach and lift. Widen your collarbones. Let's do once more each way. Laying head, neck, and chest. Lengthen the legs. 3. And then lift. Widen your collarbones. Stretch through the legs. Turn them on. And soften back and down. And last one. 3, 2, 1. Lifting head, neck, and chest. Lengthen. Find a position you can hold. We're going to flutter our legs. We're going to butterfly kick. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften everything back down. Letting go of that Theraband. Bring the hands along beside you. Bending at the knees. Bring yourself up to tabletop. And we're going to flow through that spine stretch, just like we started with. So, standing into those arms. Knees underneath your hip crease. Turn the wheel of your pelvis. Pull the front of your abdominal wall in and up. And anchor through your hands. But stretch the sit bones back behind you. Don't let your arms move. Scoop deeper into your abdominals. As you soften the spine back towards the sit bones, stretch it open. Inhale here. Exhale, lift your stomach. And start to press yourself all the way back up, nice and tall. We'll do that once more. Walking yourself back out. So you're kind of creating your own resistance to stretch and open up the spine. Lift the front of your abdominals. How can you really widen the collarbones, stand into your arms, and scoop the layers of abdominals? Turn the sit bones towards your heels and scoop in and up the front of your body. As you shift the hips back, don't let your arms move, but scoop, 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 deeper, 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 and then inhale at the bottom. Exhale, draw the stomach away from the quads as you stack yourself all the way back up. That's class. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Thank you so much.